Donald Grimmy has done a biological change, and this is one of those experiments that happened from an old grimoire that had ancient spells from the
You got to
dark
be careful
side.
how you pronounce things. That's just how it comes down to. You got to pronounce things correctly. And if you don't, this is what happens.
Thank you for that, Reverend. Thank you. So this is what happens. Somebody sneezed during a spell, and this is what happens. So this is really Donald Grimmy just looking a bit differently. I'm going to get locked up. All right, moving right along here. Tracy is with Reverend Dr. Barrett is with us this morning. Dr. Basler, no, Basler, no, who's it? Michelle Atanzio. Latzu is with us. That's Mark next to her. There is Andrea, Mercy Me Hawkins. Camper, I like that, Mercy Me. Bobby Vance, our crypto clergy. Pam Gray is with us. Ray Roldan. Ray, you got your hair all trimmed up.
Yeah,
Looks good on you, actually.
it looks good on you too.
Yeah, it looks good. So, all right, Pat Sullivan. Good morning, Pat. And we've got good morning.
Good morning. Good morning.
All right, Sarah is with us from Alabama. Serge is visiting with us from Asheville, North Carolina, where its average temperature is minus 50? I don't know. It's unbelievably cold there. Pat Care is in town. Maureen is in town as well. So one more time, Nick is from near the airport. Dr. Barrett is out in Orlando. Michelle and Mark are in the wilds west of, literally the wilds west of Chicago. Andrea Hawkins Kemper's up in Elgin. Bobby Vance is in Kissimmee. Pam is in Forest Hills. Ray Roldan is in Washington Heights. Pat is in Forest Hills. Sarah is in Alabama. Serge is in visiting from Asheville. Pat and Care from Miami. And Maureen near Farm Country in Miami as well. Welcome to you all. We have some announcements this morning. Nick is going to start first. Nick, you want to give us an announcement first?
Yes. So I just want to remind everybody that tomorrow we're having our social justice community meeting tomorrow at 6 p.m. It's the same link as this Zoom. So if you want to join, just jump ahead. We're talking about PACT. And then we're talking about more virtual things that people, because not everyone's here virtually in Miami. So we want to see how they can deal with things and stuff. So if anybody wants to join, you're all welcome to join tomorrow, Monday the 17th at 6 p.m.
Okay. This afternoon, we have a baptism. And I remind our colleagues in other parts of the UUA that no, we do not believe in original sin. This is about love, nurture, and responsibility. You've seen we've done this many times over the years. This is a Trinidadian family who some of you may remember. And they had a baby boy, and like Kenneth, we've had a baby boy. And so we'll be doing a baptism. They rented a place. I'm going to check it out in case we have to do things like this again. And we'll be doing a baptism. And what I do when I do baptisms now and other things is when everybody's gathered, I take a moment to remind everybody that unlike the old days when we gather, people have different ways of looking at things. And let's remember that everybody's has their own way, and it's perfectly fine. But this is not a time to argue theological differences. This is a time to celebrate our unity together. That what you may believe X, you may believe Y, and that's got great stuff for you. But this is the way this family is working at this today. I keep it very gentle, very pastoral, and I find that's kind of a nice introduction because people need to be reminded we have different ways of looking at things. So we'll be doing that this afternoon. As you can see, some of you, if you've noticed, my face looks more rearranged than usual. I had a procedure this week that evidently we did wrong. And I had forgot this, and it wasn't written in the book either. It's not supposed to be 16 minutes. When you have anti-rejection medicine, you have to watch out for skin cancer. And so I take a special thing where they put goo all over you for an hour, and then it's supposed to be under a blue light. It's only supposed to be for 8. I forgot that. They forgot that. And I was under 16 minutes and 8 seconds, which left me lobster-ish and loaded with more stuff than you could imagine. You'd imagine how good though aloe is in all things, and some other stuff as well. but this is taking a while. I want to say something special to you today, and I'm going to be asking this. We, as a congregation, have always been poor. We have no endowment. We have no endowment. We have no big givers. We have no extra hidden money. We took a surprise thing with the giving in the past year. One of ours was no longer with us. They moved to another part of the country and have joined a congregation there, and they wish to stay that way. And so that was a big gift yearly. And then we had somebody else whose children thought that the money better belonged to them than going to All Souls, and that took a big dent too. So we have taken a big hit financially. And I know most of our congregation has living check to check. Let me just simply ask it this way. If anybody can give a little extra at the holidays, it would be deeply appreciated. Whatever little you could do, if it's possible, if it's at all possible. We are, quite honestly, doing miraculous work on a very small budget, but the budget still is tight. And I know everybody is hard pressed right now, and I'm going to talk about that when we light the memorial candle. But if you could remember that in any special way, it would be deeply appreciated. Now, having said that, I want to light a memorial candle today for two groups of people I am tired and sick and tired of hearing maligned. There are 40 million people in our country that get food stamps. Most of these people work. You can't live on $10 an hour. You can't live on $15 an hour pay. And when I get the impression that people that have food stamps are somehow tainted by God because they have to ask for food stamps, I get absolutely livid. So there are genuinely honest, poor people who need food stamps. 40 million, folks. That's a big chunk of our country. And they're having trouble getting food stamps. While other people are playing around golf and playing at golf clubs and things like this, we have and just having a grand old time. 40 million of our people are hurting, and most of them work, by the way. Let's be very clear about that. I'm concerned about them, and you should be too. The next group I'm concerned about is the healthcare prices for health insurance are going up. And the whole idea was we were supposed to offer supplements to people's healthcare premiums. And now that's in abeyance. I don't know what to say, except I am appalled that a country that claims to be as wealthy as we are has so many poor people who can need food, and another millions more who probably can't afford health insurance, and that would make it even worse. So I want us to light a candle and keep pressuring about this, about the poor, the unfortunate, the sick, the suffering, the tempted, the bereaved, the forgotten, and lonely. They're millions, and they oftentimes include us. So if you would, let us light a candle for these genuinely kind, caring, poor people. Our call to worship this morning for all of you who wish to join me is as follows. Let us read together, if you will. Holy One, you call us to the lavish gift of rest. Support us as we lay aside our tasks, our plans, our worries, and turn to you with open hearts. And a morning prayer, if you would, for those of you who would like to read with me. Let us read together. God of light, as this new day begins, awaken us to your mercy. Let our hands serve with compassion, our hearts rest in your peace, and our lives shine with your love. Amen.
Our reading this morning is titled Rainlight by W.S. Merwin. All day the stars watch from long ago. My mother said, I am going now. When you are alone, you will be all right, whether or not you will know. Look at the old house in the dawn rain. All the flowers are forms of water. The sun reminds them through a white cloud, touches the patchwork spread on the hill, the washed colors of the afterlife that lived there long before you were born. See how they wake without a question, even though the whole world is burning. In our responsive reading, if you'll join me by reading in green. As I often say, if we do not mythologize our pain, all we can do is to pathologize it. We are invited to realize, I am not the first nor the last to feel this suffering. I can now choose to be a weak but willing member of the whole communion of saints. Maybe hope needs to be a cosmic hope to be hope at all. I want to raise up the magic world all around me and live strongly and quietly there. And now our next reading. Selu is an archaic old Germanic word for soul because it is connected to being bound by sea. I think of mnemonic things, whales blowing stories to shore, and nonverbal memories etched on scales or skin. I think of ancestral depths below the surface, bone wisdom, beneath the sea, beneath the sand, beneath the soul. Somewhere, a seal skin is waiting to be found. Somewhere, a story turns to foam.
I once asked a hospice patient what the most important thing they learned about life that they wish to pass on to someone. I don't know exactly what I was expecting them to say, but it wasn't what they told me. After careful consideration, they said, slow down. It is only now, confined in this body and bed, that I understand the preciousness of life. I was surprised and honestly a little let down at the time, as I selfishly hoped for some shiny, flashy pearl of wisdom that would be dazzling and enigmatic, like the lithographs by M.C. Escher portraying the artist gazing into the crystal ball and seeing his own reflection. Slow down, she said. Pay attention to everything, she said. Breathe, she said, and know that you are alive right up until the moment you aren't. It is only now, some years on, that I can appreciate the gift of the exquisite truth my patient shared with me. Indeed, it feels like an act of rebellion, an act of radical self-preservation, to live a deliberately slower life in the face of a world that is speeding up exponentially. For decades now, slow living movements of various kinds have been evolving in our midst, from slow food to slow fashion to slow travel, slow parenting, and myriad other slow ways of being. Carl Honore, who wrote the 2004 bestseller In Praise of the Slow Life, explains the essence of the movement thusly. A fast approach tends to be a superficial one, but when you slow down, you begin to engage more deeply with whatever it is you are doing. You are also forced to confront what's happening inside you, which is one of the reasons why I think we find it so hard to slow down. Speed becomes a form of denial. It's a way of running away from those more deep, tangled problems. Instead of focusing on questions like who I am and what is my role here, it all becomes a superficial to-do list. Living slowly, then, is an exercise in living in right relationship to oneself and others. After all, if we develop a better understanding of who we are and what our role is, both broadly and more narrowly defined, then we are more able to understand how we may best function in our communities of care. As UUs, we strive to create beloved community in the here and now, not in some world beyond. If we are to accomplish such a vision or even to come close to it, though, we will all need to both make the space in our lives to dream big about such a community and what it might look like, practically speaking, and to understand how we as individuals can use our time and talents to make it so. This cannot and will not happen if we are speeding through our lives, checking off items on to-do lists and ticking boxes that our society tells us indicate success. Slow living philosophies and practices offer us a different way to make meaning in our lives, to savor our moments as the seasons of our lives revolve. Hospice and palliative care illustrates the slow life. In hospice care, we, the care providers, and our patients and families purposefully slow down and appreciate every moment as much as possible. We are all acutely aware that these moments are limited in ways we can only offer educated opinions about regarding how much time someone has left. And we look for the small blessings, beauties, and graces in everyday life, the shining pearls among the mundane. When one's world is reduced to a small room, when even going outside with assistance isn't possible anymore, it becomes a necessary spiritual practice to appreciate the beautiful moments of everyday life. Bird song, the flickering of a candle flame, a gentle hand stroking one's skin, the happy bark of a canine visitor. Illustrations of the wisdom of slowing down, creating spaciousness, and being mindful are plentiful across cultures. Like many of us gathered here growing up, I was fascinated by fables, stories, and cartoons, still am, enjoying them as entertainment without fully realizing the ways the messages settle into our bones as we grow. The Tortoise and the Hare was always a favorite, and I particularly love the Bugs Bunny and Cecil the Turtle cartoons, where Cecil gets the better of Bugs with his carefully planned and executed trickery, taking his time and letting his wisdom and cleverness guide him to do the impossible, to beat a hare to the finish line of a foot race. Tortoises live long lives, while hares are much shorter lived. Is the pace at which they move part of what makes their lives shorter? As humans, we're encouraged to be in constant movement. We are told that the constant movement is good for us, to keep ourselves healthy. In fact, to an extent, this makes sense. We know from research that sedentary behaviors will generally shorten our lives. But perhaps we need to think more about what types of movement will lengthen our lives and contribute to our overall well-being. Things like yoga, moving meditation, and some slow forms of martial arts come to mind, like Tai Chi. Do we really need spin classes and mad fast aerobics to keep us healthy? Or is there value in physical movements that keep us attentive to our bodies, our minds, and souls? Even if we choose to participate in life as hares, we need a tortoise side too, for harmony and balance. Being mindful of the choices we have in each moment and knowing when to embrace speedy action, such as when there's a crisis underway, or when to slow down and consider options, such as when we're given a diagnosis we didn't expect, is the way illustrated by proponents of slow lifestyles. One need not be a Luddite to live a slow life. Rather, it's an embracing of all that's available to us and thoughtful choices. I'm reminded here that our shared faith is a covenantal one. We strive to live in right relationship with each other and with our larger communities. Perhaps living slower, more mindful lifestyles can bring us back into covenant with ourselves, with spirit, and with all living creation. Perhaps we can see there where the edges of our personal worlds touch and overlap with all the living beings around us. For example, if we consider the seventh principle, respect for the interdependent web of all existence, I wonder if the common rush and hurry lifestyle hasn't blinded us to the beauty of the natural world and has thus contributed to environmental destruction. You can't love what you don't notice. There is something to be said for appreciating the dandelions in the spring and the ways in which these weeds are early food for bees. It's noticing the weeds growing in the cracks in the side of the road, tenacious and vibrant, as I'm driving to work. And reflecting on the beauty that grows in the spaces we usually don't notice, and the ways in which quiet nurturance is happening all around us. Rooting our being in the present moment and returning to oneself. What a gift we can give to ourselves. It's not a selfish act or nasal gazing to cultivate a life of mindfulness, provided that we continually remember the ways in which we are interdependent with the web of life. One of the most giving things we can do for others is to be present to the now. More attention to the present may alleviate our sadness and anxiety and the sense of there never being enough, the empty spaces inside of ourselves. It seems like we try to move ever faster, as though if we move fast enough, we can outrun the sucking need of the abyss, the wounded emptiness some of us carry in our souls from the traumas in our lives. If we aren't rushing to fill the space of our days, and we are willing to sit with our consciousness and listen, we can cultivate our biggest dreams and hopes. We need spaciousness to do that. As children, we wish for the time to pass faster. As adults, we wish to review and perhaps even live in the past. And in either case, we are missing out on the present. There's an old song I used to play with my music teacher as a kid. And it went something like, "Enjoy yourself, it's later than you think." In reflecting on this topic, I think perhaps my hospice patient who told me to slow down and appreciate the preciousness of life was saying this very thing in different words. Hospice work also teaches us about the slow life. One simply can't be a hare anymore when approaching death. The ultimate absolute. Dying takes the time it takes and truly can't be hurried. The spirit dictates how long we have, and it moves on its own schedule, inscrutable and ineffable. Dying patients savor every moment, fully present in the now. Learning this from them is one of the many gifts given to me by the folks I serve. When nearing death, there is no more time to waste in avoidance and distancing oneself and others. There is only time for truth, beauty, and love. One of my favorite Zen teachers, Alan Watts, talks about the ways in which we lose the present moment by chasing after future possibilities. Things that seem so very real to us based on our curious ability for deductions, and calls this pursuit chasing a constantly retreating phantom. This seems to me to be an excellent metaphor for our modern life of chasing after illusions and fantasies that are all but real. We do not have to wait until we are dying to slow down and enjoy all the present moment has to offer. We can take my patient sage counsel to heart. Slow down and breathe in, feeling the aliveness of our bodies and spirits, and reflect on the preciousness of life in the now, as the present moment is all we ever really have. May it be so, and may we be the ones to make it so. Amen, Ashe, and blessed be.
Well, we won't.
During the busyness of Passover weekend, Jesus invited his disciples to sit and pause and have a meal together. And we do this throughout our world. We sit, and we pause, and we share food and have conversation and are reminded of the ways in which we are all connected. So during that meal, Jesus took a simple cup and simple bread and told his disciples to take and eat, because this is my body broken for you. This is my blood shed for you. And it is a way for us to remember that we are all connected. The hands that grew the grain and made it into bread, the hands that took the grapes and made them into wine, all of that is our body, our blood, broken and shed for one another. And as we share this agape meal together virtually, may we remember that we are all connected, and that when we rest, gives us time to recognize the beauty in each other. And now, will you share with me the words from our great theologian, Winnie the Pooh? Promise me you'll remember. You are braver than you believe, stronger than you seem, smarter than you think. God didn't promise days without pain, laughter without sorrows, sun without rain. But the divine did promise strength for the day, comfort for the tears, and light for the way. And our concluding prayer is a Sabbath blessing from Lectio 365. May this day bring Sabbath rest to my heart and my home. May God's image in me be restored, and may my imagination in God be restored. May the gravity of material things be lightened and the relativity of time slow down. May I know grace to embrace my own finite smallness in the arms of God's infinite greatness. May God's word feed me and his spirit lead me into the week and into the life to come. Go in peace, go in love. Remember that we are the ones to change this world. And remember to take rest when you can, as it is a radical act. Have a wonderful week, everyone. As you may have noticed, Dr. Ken slipped out, but we continue on as we do. I want to thank Dr. Michelle Latanzio for our fabulous share this morning. Nick for pitching in and helping with tech. We appreciate it. Hello again to Andrea and Bobby and Pam and Ray and Pat and Sarah and Pat Can Care and Cindy and Maureen. May you all have a blessed week. Thank you for being with us. We
And
love
Mark.
you, and you are part of us.
Thank you.